Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast, the place for conversations with adaptive athletes in the CrossFit space and beyond. I'm your host, Matt Hotho. On today's episode, I'm talking with Shana Coissard, a French adaptive athlete with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome who's competed in wheelchair basketball at the European Championship level, thrown down at the WheelWOD Games and Wodapalooza, and is currently chasing a HYROX World Championship title. Shana also runs Adapt, Train, Empower, an online programming resource for adaptive athletes. And she's one of those people who quietly puts in the work, and that work paid off with a viral moment at Wodapalooza. We talk about everything from how she built her social media presence and landed sponsors, to the frustrations of officiating an adaptive competition, to what it takes to hold the world record for a seated ski-erg marathon. That was insane. She's got a great perspective, a lot of practical wisdom, and a mantra that I think we could all borrow. So here's my conversation with Shana Coissard. Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Shana Coissard. Shana, you can repronounce your last name for the audience because I can't pronounce things that are French.
First of all, thank you for having me, and it's Shana Coissard.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Beautiful. And this American cannot roll his R's. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I really enjoyed our conversation before we hit record. And so I'm looking forward to just talking to you a little bit more about your experience as an adaptive athlete and our community getting to know you a little bit more as well. So Sydney Peterson told me that I needed to reach out to you. She met you, I think, at the 22 WheelWOD Games when you competed as a seated athlete. So what were those games like in 22?
So my first games were in 21, and it was absolutely awesome. That's where I discovered the adaptive community. So this sport was so nice, and it was also my first competition in CrossFit.
Really? The WheelWOD Games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's definitely one of the best memories in my life.
Yeah. Was it at the gym or was it at the convention center? Do you remember?
It was at the gym.
Okay. That in 21?
Yeah.
Wow.
The convention center was in 22.
Okay.
If I remember well.
Yeah. Yeah. So in 21, you roll into this gym and there's a whole bunch of other adaptive athletes. What was that experience like for you being around that many adaptive athletes?
It was incredible. It was also my first trip by myself and also in the US. Wow. So it was a really great experience. And it was so nice to talk with all the adaptive athletes and to exchange about how they train, how they feel, what CrossFit bring to them in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I met really experienced people that give me great advice to train and to compete and everything. So it was definitely a great experience.
Yeah. I remember my first time walking into that convention center in 23. We've actually never met. Our careers overlap each other don't overlap each other. You competed until 22 and then I started in 23. But I remember my first time walking into that convention center and it was just like, oh my gosh, there's so many of us here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Shana, what is your disability that makes you an adaptive athlete?
I have an Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I did like basic sports as an able-bodied as a child. Mm-hmm. And I started and my disability started to hit when I was 9. Mm-hmm. So I stopped sports about that time. And in the rehabilitation center, I started wheelchair basketball at 15. So that's when I started to do adaptive sports.
Okay. Yeah. And you were telling me before we started recording that when this Ehlers-Danlos syndrome started appearing, that it started in your ankles, and then you were having a hard time walking with your friends, and then you got in a wheelchair, and all of a sudden you were able to kind of hang out with your friends more, is kind of how you described it to me. Is that right?
Yeah. I was really nervous about using a wheelchair because of how people will see me. And I also lacked muscle in my upper body at this time. So it was really hard to push the wheelchair. So I wasn't much independent. But with time, I got stronger in my upper body. So I was more independent, and I realized that how people see me wasn't that bad, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I read that when you competed in wheelchair basketball, you got a bronze medal, at nationals, or was it nationals or European nationals?
It was the European Championships. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Tell
Thank you.
me a little bit about what it's like playing wheelchair basketball.
It's an incredible sport because it's a sport team. So it's really human. Like, I made true friendship with the girls in the French team.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible to share victory and share so much time of life together. And also the sport is incredible. Like, it's just not about physical. It's also, there's a lot of strategy behind it, a lot of skills with the wheelchair, with the ball. So I did really enjoy this sport.
Yeah. And communication, right? You have to be able to talk to each other, know what's happening. Yeah,
that was really interesting for me, and it really changed the way I was, because I didn't communicate much before wheelchair basketball with other people, and I didn't thought much about when I say something, how people will interpret it. And as a team, you definitely need to have great communication, and also saying good things to other, to push them better. So when I started, I didn't do this much, and with time, I learned to do this, and I think it's really great to have better communication with people, like even out of sports. So that was a great thing to learn.
Yeah, and you probably also got a sense for what people needed to hear to be motivated.
Yeah.
And to be pushed, and when they didn't need to be pushed. Yeah. Do you coach?
I do online programming, so it's a bit different.
Is that Adapt, Train, Empower? Is that absolutely your online coaching? Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit different because it's not personal coaching. But the purpose of Adapt, Train, Empower is to touch as many people as possible, because I think in the adaptive community we lack knowledge. Like, there aren't much coaches that are specialized into adaptive athletes. So my goal is to give keys to as many athletes as possible to have a great training program, of course, but also to learn how to adapt exercises. So for the long-term training, it's better because if they do like training by themselves or change coaches or whatever, they can use the exercise they learn and adapt by themselves the trainings.
Yeah. And you put a lot of that out on your Instagram. I notice, like how to do seated deadlifts and other things like that.
Yeah, when I started CrossFit, I wish I was on Instagram because I wasn't on Instagram at all. Um, and then a friend told me, oh, you should go on Instagram because you will have so much more ideas about exercises, like in general, even as an able-bodied, because there are so much exercises that can be really interesting and you just don't think about it because it's really specific.
Yeah.
But even more as an adaptive athletes, because I think we need role model. Like everyone need a role model. But if you see someone in a wheelchair that do sports and high level sports and everything, it really helps to think that I can do it too.
Yeah.
And also it can give like a lot of ideas about how to adapt exercises and everything. So that's really important for me. I really wanted to share this also.
Yeah. So your Instagram page then is to give people an example, someone to look up to, maybe someone to see that it's possible to do these things. So I'm curious, has anyone ever reached out to you and said that you inspired them to try something more than they thought they could?
Yeah, absolutely. And every time I receive comments or DMs like this, it just make my day. Like I am so happy about that. I receive pretty frequently messages of athletes, but also coaches and sometimes friends or parents of adaptive athletes.
Yeah. What's it like when you hear from those parents that are like, oh, I see what my child could possibly do one day?
For me, that's the best messages. Like it goes directly to my heart. Um, it was years ago, but I still remember this DM. It was a mother that has a son who have cerebral palsy, and he uses a wheelchair. And he was really young, like maybe something like 3 or 4. And she was like, "Thanks to you, I know he can do sports."
Yes.
And I do CrossFit, so we're going. He's still young now, but in the future we're gonna do CrossFit together. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
yes,
that's so nice, and I am so glad to do this to help people to realize that their kids can do sports too, and this meant everything to me.
Yeah, because before social media, our parents were growing up, we didn't have the ability to see that other people can do these things, right? They just had to hope that their kids were going to be okay. And now parents are getting to see people like you and me and other adaptive athletes who listen to this podcast show what's possible for people.
Yeah.
So I want to say that what you do on Instagram is so well done. The way that
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's very intentional. You seem to have like a posting strategy or a schedule where you just film content and then post it. Do you want to talk at all about that strategy, how you do that? Because I think there's some athletes who feel like that's really hard to do.
Yeah, the first thing, if you want to start, I would say you doesn't need to be perfect to start. You don't need a great camera to start. You don't need to post like every day or something. You can start just the way you want to start.
Yeah.
And what I do share on my social medias, I like to share workouts. Like what I do, I just put my cameras in the corner of the gym and I do my workout and record this. I also like to do educational content. So explain adaptation, for example, seated deadlift, or maybe I found out a new exercise or a new adaptation, or also the setup. For example, I had many questions about the setup of sled push or HYROX.
Yeah.
because you need straps and everything. So there is a great way to strap yourself to the sled. And I tried many techniques, and with some techniques, the wheelchair just flip backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you need to think a little bit about it. Just what part of the wheelchair should I strap to the sled and everything. So yeah, I like to share those kind of things, and also just me some daily moments and everything.
Yeah. It's really well done to see who you are, to get an idea of what you love and how you train.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you also have sponsors?
Yeah, I have sponsors. I started to be a pro athlete 5 years ago.
How did that start? How did you get sponsors, and how do you get more sponsors?
So I started to post on Instagram pretty frequently when I did my first open, and I saw that I could do high level in CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
So I started there. And then I qualified for the WheelWOD Games. So I started to share my journey and my trainings and competition and everything. So at first I didn't have much traction. Like I had less than 1,000 followers. But I mean, it was nice to share, and I just did my thing. And I finished second at the WheelWOD Games. So that was a great start to find sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
A few months after, I qualified for the Wodapalooza. So that's where I started to contact brands, and I found my 2 first sponsors. And at the Wodapalooza, they made a video about me on the competition.
I saw that, but like you nailed that overhead press.
Thank you.
That was the video they made, right?
Yeah.
Where you went for a clean and then you missed the jerk the first time, and then you got it the second time.
Yeah, in fact, I did way more than 2 times. The barbell was so heavy for me, and I don't remember well how many attempts I did, but like maybe like 5, 6, 7. I don't know, but I did many attempts. Yeah, and finally I did it. So I was happy to be able to finish the workouts.
Yeah.
And this video went viral and did 2 million views. And that's where I started to gain followers. Mm-hmm. Like a month after that, I had 15,000 followers, and then it started to grow.
Okay. So you kind of had a viral moment that kind of gave you the momentum, but you'd been doing the work before the viral moment happened. Yeah. So that when that happened, it just was natural to go from there.
Yeah. I think it works with everything. Like of course I was really lucky to have this moment, to be recorded and then to be posted, and that it went viral, because it doesn't happen with every video. So I was really lucky, but I put a lot of work before, and I think if you put enough effort in something, you need to be lucky at one time, and then it will grow,
Yeah.
You need efforts and luck, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Can we talk about a couple of random things, and then we'll talk about HYROX? Okay. So you mentioned in our pre-interview that you did circus as a child, and this naive American thought maybe that was a translation issue, but no, you actually did circus. So what did you do in circus when you were a child?
So when you do circus, you do have a specialty. And I don't know if this translation is right. It's the American role.
Okay. The American role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's mean there's a role.
Mm-hmm.
and a plank on it, and you stand on it, and you do tricks like you can jump, you can squat on it, you can do hula hoops at the same time.
Yes.
You can do a minute step on it.
Yeah. Did you like balance things on your head or like twirl things or I don't know?
How do you say that?
Juggle.
Juggle?
Juggle. Juggle. Juggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did juggle on it. I did squats, hula hoops with three hoops. Jump on it.
Yeah.
Jump and turn around at the same time.
So did you like perform in a circus?
I didn't really perform in a circus with
the big tent.
Yeah. As you can imagine, but I did some shows, like at the Christmas markets.
Yeah.
Or our nursing home or things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then another random thing is you hold the world record for the seated ski-erg marathon?
Yeah.
Why? Why would anybody do that?
That's a great question. So I followed a girl on Instagram who is Marielle Leleu. She did the Enduroman.
Okay.
She was the first French girl to do the Enduroman. And she always do new challenges. And she realized that in France, they weren't women record for marathon ski-erg. So she was like, I'm looking for girls who want to attempt it with me. So it was all able-bodied girl, but I realized that there were no world record for marathon ski-erg. So I was like, okay, I'm in. And it was definitely the hardest thing that I did in my entire life.
Yeah.
Because I never did even like 10 kilometers on ski-erg. And the big thing, I did the prep in 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long does it take to ski? What is that? 42,000 meters?
Yeah. I did 4 hours and 43 minutes.
Wow.
And it was really hot.
Yeah.
It was in May and the weather was really hot.
Wow. What, that had to have been a journey physically, but also emotionally. Mm-hmm. How did you get through 4 hours and 42 minutes of skiing? Like what was going on in your brain, in your mind?
Yeah, it was a big challenge. Like I did cry a few times. I was exhausted, and also hormones is really does change a lot with the hours of effort.
Yeah.
The girls around me was pushing me a lot because we started at the same time. They are able-bodied, so they finished before me, of course. But the first hours, we did this together, so it was really nice. Also, we had a great playlist.
Okay, nice. That's
so
that's crucial.
I did sing and everything at the same time, so it really helps. And the worst thing was the last 10 kilometers. Like it was awful. I had neck pain each time I got up.
Yeah.
It was so painful. Like each rep was absolutely horrible. So the last hour was just pain.
Yeah. Well, and you were telling me that like with EDS, your joints will pop out of place or dislocate and that kind of thing. I mean, doing a ski-erg, that's shoulders and like chest. And did your joints hold up? Were there times when your joints were popping out and then popping back into place? What was that like due to your disability?
No, happily, I didn't have any dislocation.
Okay.
I mean, if I did during the marathon, I could not have continued it. It would have been too complicated. But of course, the chronic pain doesn't help to continue the efforts. Like, it's definitely more challenging. And after the marathon, I had a tendonitis in my shoulder. But I think the 3-week prep was a great idea about, tendonitis.
Yes. Wow. So has anyone broken that record, or do you still?
I still have it.
You still have it. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody listening to this, don't take that record just yet. Okay. She put a lot of effort into that. Okay.
I'm not going to do it another time.
Okay. You're not defending that record.
The first and the last one. Maybe run a marathon. I would love to do it.
Okay.
But no, this ski-erg marathon, I'm done with it.
Yeah. No, I could not imagine. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up, let's talk about your HYROX journey. So I believe you placed second at Worlds last year in adaptive HYROX. Is that right? Uh-huh. And so what are you looking forward to this year? Well, actually first, what is adaptive HYROX for anybody who doesn't know? I think a lot of people are familiar with HYROX. You kind of run, you do some stations, but when it's adapted, what's the way that a HYROX is adapted for you?
It's pretty similar for the stations. For the running, it's the exact same thing. Okay. We have to wheel 1 kilometer each time. For the station, we have really little adaptations. It's 900 meters to ski.
Okay.
Same for rowing. So in my opinion,
it might as well be the same.
Adaptations, because rowing 900 meters with just upper body is really much longer than 1,000 meters with legs.
Yeah.
For the sled push, it's 75 kilos and same distance. For the sled pull, same distance as well, and it's 50 kilos.
Mm-hmm. So for the sled push, are you putting the sled in front of your wheelchair and pushing the sled forward with your wheelchair?
No, it's in my back, and I strap the sled to the wheelchair, and I push my wheelchair. I usually do.
So the sled pull and the sled push are basically the same for adaptive, but less weight? Less weight on one? Okay, gotcha.
And I would say that the stations that are really different are for the lunges and for the burpees. Mm-hmm. For the burpees is 2 pushes and then a dip in front of the chair. Okay. So for the lunges, the adaptation is the sandbag side lift and turn around. Oh. So you take the sandbag, you put it in the other side of you, and then you turn around it and you do the distance like this.
Whoa. So you're picking up the sandbag. You're here. You pick up the sandbag, pick up the sandbag, move around it, and you're kind of just snaking your way through the session. That? That's awful. That is awful. How long does that take you?
It's not that bad. I don't know. Do you want me to check?
Sure. Yeah. Were you at Chicago?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
so at Chicago, I did 2 minutes and 4 seconds for the side lift and turn around.
Yeah, okay. That's what I see on the website. Wow. Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Shana, tell me about your experience at Worlds this year. I think you came in second, but what was that experience like?
It was an incredible experience, but I was a bit frustrated because I was supposed to finish first. Yeah. And fortunately, I missed the title because the girl who finished first messed up for the running. And so she was supposed to have penalties. I finished 3 seconds behind her. So with the penalties, I was supposed to finish first.
Yeah.
And in the process, the judges didn't put the penalties.
Wow.
And so it changed the result, unfortunately.
Does that, obviously that is disappointing because you can't say I came in first necessarily, right? Does that impact your ability to get sponsors or to kind of build your following? What are the consequences of that?
I think it does impact it. I finished second, so it's not that bad. I mean, I did a podium. But of course, if you have a title, it helps to have more sponsors. And when you get first, you have more recognition about that. So unfortunately, I didn't got this recognition because of the problem and stuff.
Yeah, and I know adaptive HYROX is still relatively new, and there's this tension of, well, it's new, so we should expect mistakes, but it's also professional, so we shouldn't expect mistakes, right? How do you balance that tension?
I don't understand this error because we have chip while we run, so the laps are tracked, and it's the same process for able-bodied and adaptive athletes. We don't have a change about that, mostly in my division because we have the same numbers of lap as able-bodied. So it doesn't change anything to track. So I don't understand why they didn't take this.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel bad about adaptive HYROX because there are not much professional in our division. And if you do a mistake like this, it doesn't help to build professional sports.
Yes. So I'm going to try and reflect back what I heard you say, because I think what you're saying is really important, is that if you're trying to build a professional adaptive sport, you have to be professional about it. If you want to grow it, if you want more people signing up for it, you have to make sure that you're holding it to the same standards that you would hold an able-bodied race to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to be fair, and you also need live stream. As we said before, it's really important to show the division. If you frustrate athletes because it's not fair, if you don't apply the rules, maybe athletes will leave. So it doesn't help the sport to grow.
Right. So do you think it would be different if HYROX said this was an exhibition and not like a championship? If they said, well, you can still show up and sort of, we're not giving out first, second, third. It's just more so you get to show what adaptive athletes are capable of doing in HYROX. And they started it as an exhibition instead of right out the gate saying, no, we're going to give world championships.
No, I think for me, it's a great thing to do world championships because if you make a difference between able-bodied and adaptive athletes, for me, it's a problem.
Okay.
It should be great for me to do the same thing. Even if it's not perfect, I prefer mistakes like I lift than just exhibition because adaptive athletes deserve competitions and show up as athletes and not just doing sports their own.
Okay, I appreciate that. So your goal this year is first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does that look like in adaptive HYROX? How do you qualify? How do you get categorized? Can you kind of paint that picture for people who are listening who might want to try and take you on in adaptive HYROX?
It's pretty much the same as able-bodied. So you find a race, you register to it. So you need to register as an adaptive athlete.
Okay.
You choose your category. If you don't know which category you are in, you can reach out to the HYROX team. And maybe if you're a wheelchair user and you need some advice, you can reach out to me as well. I helped a couple of athletes to choose their division because for people who never did competitions before, it can be tricky to know which division to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you say your division, and then the team will get back to you to know if the adaptation suits you, and also to prove, like you need a proof to show that you are disabled.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then it's the normal process. You just go to the race, you do your thing. And for the world slots, you need to be in the top 3 of the season. And if you are in, you do qualify.
Okay. So where are Worlds this year?
This year, it's in Sweden. It's in Stockholm.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome. And are you on track to qualify?
I think so. I break the world records in November. So for now, I have the first place.
Okay.
So finger crossed, I'm going to qualify.
Okay. And when are Worlds?
It's going to be in June.
June. Okay, cool. Is there a way to watch it?
I don't know yet. Unfortunately, last year we didn't have a live stream.
Okay.
It was only for elites.
Okay.
So maybe this year they're going to be a live stream. I don't know. But you can follow in live the statistics on the website.
Okay. Great. Well, we will be cheering you on for Worlds. Hopefully you qualify and get to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. As we wrap up, as we kind of bring this conversation to a close, I just had 2 questions for you. If anyone is interested in adaptive fitness, what would you suggest to them as a first step?
I would suggest to them to find a great gym and a great coach, because it's essential that you find a gym where you feel comfortable, and you find someone to give you great advice, great adaptations, and a safe way to train. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's the first step.
Yeah. All right. And then if you could go back and talk to a younger version of yourself, maybe young Shana who's 9 years old, who doesn't know what's coming up, doesn't know what life has in store for her, what would you tell her to encourage her?
That's a great question. I would tell her to feel more confident, and to not be afraid of trying new things. Like, life is so imprevisible. Mm-hmm. But in a great way, like, you don't know what you're going to do next. Even if you think it's going to be so different, because you will meet new person, you will find new patients, you will learn so many things, and so life will bring you new things.
Yeah, that's great.
And just trust the process.
Yeah. Do you, when you're doing that ski-erg or when you're competing in HYROX, do you have a mantra or anything that you say to yourself over and over in your head?
Have fun. It's definitely the first thing, because with pressure, that's something I tend to forget. So I remind this all the time to myself. Have fun, because it's just the goal of life.
Yeah.
To have fun and be happy. So have fun. And also push as hard as you can, because no regrets.
Yeah. What does that sound like in French when you're saying that to yourself?
Amuse-toi, pas de regret.
Okay.
Have fun and no regrets.
Yeah, have fun, no regrets. I love that. Well, Shana, thanks so much for being on the podcast. This was wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the podcast. I hope you took as much away from it as I did. Here's what struck me. Shana said that if you put enough effort into something, you just need to be lucky one time and it'll grow. That's not a passive statement. Yeah, the luck part of it is something that you can't always control. But that work that you put in ahead of time, that matters. That work that is put in for years of showing up, posting content, training, competing, and trusting the process. So what's the next step for you? Maybe it's finally posting that workout video on your Instagram. Maybe it's finally telling your story on Instagram or on the local news. Maybe it's signing up for your first adaptive HYROX or your first CrossFit Open. Whatever it is, start before you're ready. Because as Shana would say, have fun and no regrets. If this episode resonated with you, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Follow the podcast wherever you listen, leave a review, and tag us on social media. It all helps grow this community. I'm Matt Hotho, and I'll see you next time.